Hello, beautiful earth beings. It is so great to be with you today. So happy October. I want to take a moment to do something I don't usually do, which is just read one side of the energy. Of course, other insight will come through. But I've been talking with other divine feminines, and there's been a lot of inquiry about what's going on with the divine masculine. Why is it that they seemingly seem so stuck in the 3D, especially when we're encountering things more on the 5D level? So I've done a quick spread, and then I'm going to go into some of the specific questions that have been being asked. But first I wanted to do like an overall of kind of where we're at in relation to what we as the feminine are sensing with the divine masculine, is what is really going on for us, for them, what sort of insight do we need? Now, of course, when I read for the masculine, I'm not just talking about men's with dicks. I'm talking about also that component in us that's still getting strengthened. All right. But I really have done work mostly today to focus on the divine counterpart as it shows up primarily in masculine form. Okay, so tuning in with the inner child, the first card that came out from the inner child cards was the earth child, which is the world. Now, I got a really strong message here of that the wounded parts of all of us actually are starting to realize that we don't have to carry all of that baggage with us to the new earth. We can start to kind of re-whole ourselves with divine beingness, with that clarity, with that pure sense. And there's also a lot of like birthing the new divine human. Now, I think when we think about that, we're like, oh, all these twin flames and soulmates and sacred union couples are going to come together and they're going to have babies, and there's going to be all this like whole new race of like beings born out of love and sacred union. And I support that vision. I hope that I get to bring through one of those babies. But I also think it's rebirthing ourselves into this new paradigm fully and wholly. All right. And I think that for the masculine, I'm also getting the message that a lot of the children coming through are a part of this ascendant process really strongly too. So the more just for the feminine, the message of practicing conscious conception. If you are with your partner and they're not with you on that spiritual level yet, that's okay. Do what you need to do on the conscious conception level. I think there's a lot of work of, re-honoring our moon cycles, re-honoring our ovulation, re-honoring the blood, making offerings to the earth with both the egg whites, as we call them, secretions, and as well as our blood. Put it on the earth, smear it on trees, like really claim that this is the new earth. We want to bring about this new state of being. Okay. And so I think that's the message of this card is our inner children are ready. We are ready. We really are seeing how we want to cultivate this new earth. I think this is also representative for the ways that any of us, especially the masculine, who have tended to feeling more sensitive, find ways to integrate with this world. Now, we see here we've got a moon cycle, and this is first quarter moon. Also feel like it's the residual of the eclipse energy, kind of how it's portrayed. But this would be the first moon. So we are coming up on a full moon. We've got a little bit, before we reach this, which would be towards the end of October. I wasn't going to do a reading yet for October as a whole. I'm going to do that separately. But I guess that's something to take mind of, as a lot of these changes are percolating this month and they are coming into being. We are birthing new heart energy. Also feel very strongly that our Lumerian consciousness is coming back into being. I don't know where I got this information or if I downloaded it myself, but I feel like a lot of Lumerian heart energy is being activated. So if you can tune in with the Hawaiian Islands or Mount Shasta, those are all great places. If you can have rocks or anything from these places, or just meditate as if your rocks came from there, that can be really grounding and centering for you. Now, as we're working forward with the divine masculine and with the masculine, I asked about his internal reality. I got 10 of Pentacles. we got this card yesterday for him as well. So this internal reality regarding it is I really think that he's starting to hold the vision of this new earth, of this community, of family coming together, of I know there was a lot of poison in the rainbow tribes, but like of the rainbow tribe philosophy, you know, that like many people of different races are coming together, and that we're starting to honor more and more of our soul truths as soul family, because that is what's going to nourish us ultimately and fully. And I think, yeah, there's such a welcoming in this card of like, come join us. And so I feel that that's like the energy that the masculine is like he's holding the vision, and instead of it being like, oh, I'm not welcome or I'm busy with work, like the vision is like, oh yeah, I want to go eat with these people. I want to go celebrate with these people. So I do feel that that internal world is starting to shift more towards the shared vision that the union brings both forward. Now, I did have a specific question that I want to look at. That is, how will how aware are the masculine internally of this shared mission, and that this vision they're starting to hold and cultivate, that it is healing the new earth. So it is bringing us to the new earth. They understand that these counterpart unions are something greater than the sum of its parts. It's not just about two people coming together. Okay, so we get the Six of Boons here, and I love that this is still Pentacle suit. So it shows me that they're like still looking very practically at things, which is great. We want the masculine to be rooted and grounded in the logic, but we want them to be open and receptive to the warmth of the feminine, to the insight of the feminine, to the divine wisdom that moves through. Okay, so what I love about this card is the first message that came through is they are aware on a subconscious level, and that stuff is starting to come through in the dream realm. So they're starting. And I know a lot of people don't remember their dreams. It's a very strong practice for me. But even if people are starting to have dreams and they wake up going, oh, I know I had a dream, I can't remember what it is, that's an indication that those energies are starting to move through them. Now, the more conscious we get around our dreams and cultivating that as a practice, the more we can get ahead of what's coming through. If you need any support or would like some tools in relation to dream cultivation, please let me know. It's one of my strong suits. What I also would like to acknowledge about this is there's a lot of yin and yang in these bunnies, right? We've got the masculine and feminine within the bunnies, and they're all kind of cuddling her, and they're cozied up, and it's like who's keeping who warm, and it's everybody. They're all working together. And what I see is, with the bunny energy is we've got fear and fertility, right? So I think there's an alchemical process occurring on the internal levels for the masculine around how it is that we are merging, how we can comfort and support each other. And there's still a lot of fear that is being released within that. I almost knocked over all of my sage just now. There's a lot of energy that's being released. Had I knocked this over, it would just been like, this ash and of cedar, sage, and lemongrass and lavender, which I was burning all before this call, which I really feel are representative and moving through this thing. You take the sage for the cleansing, the cedar for like the protecting and the support. You take the lavender for this like tough love, it's time to move through, and the lemongrass to bring more positivity and joy. And I've been doing this fusion for a while because I really feel like it fills the energy not only of my home but of the work that I'm doing in this grounded new earth way, where we are really working to shed and rebirth. Okay, so this is big stuff, and and I like that question. Now on the I have some more questions directly that I want to answer, but I just wanted to tackle that first. So externally, I'm asking, how is it that, in the 3D world, how is this showing up? What is this looking like? And what we're seeing is the Tower. And I do believe that I've seen this card quite a few in the last few days. I don't remember in which readings, but it's come up quite a few times. And what I'm sensing with the Tower, and what I like about this particular version of the Tower, is it's being struck with lightning. It is enlivening. It is the divine orchestration of change must come now. Ready or not, here you go. And one of the questions I got was specifically about it being a leap of faith. And I'm trying to find what will push them to take that final leap. Is that a leap of pure faith? Well, sometimes we're just pushed. So I do think that a lot of divine masculines and a lot of counterparts, especially if you have been interacting, that they are receiving a push that is coming externally that they have no choice but to honor and move forward with. Now, of course, they can, we all have free will. They can do whatever they do with that. But this is a full-on activation that is happening for them in the 3D. And that means there's a lot of endings coming forward in their life. There's a lot of pieces that are, that are being uprooted so that this new energy can come forth. And I love these mystical butterflies. I think that shows the significance of the spiritual helpers. I love that the masculine is represented by a little squirrel here, and like even his nuts, have been struck by an air of the lightning. But it shows that he is gathering. He has been prepping in the physical world. So while we might not see it exactly, or maybe he's not sharing his process, the masculine is taking fundamental steps, even if it's just happening on a mental level, towards this massive transition that's about to occur. I think I'm going to ask for more insight on this massive transition. What is it? What more can we expect from this Tower card? What more, can be seen with the masculine here? All right, I got 2 cards. Okay. So we have 7 of Cups, was right below Strength, okay? So for me, Strength has, I'll start with 7 of Cups. So 7 of Cups is often a card of indecision, of needing to make a choice. What's interesting is this morning I was meditating on the animals, both snake and bat specifically. So both of those signal rebirth and transmutation. So that is doubling up on our Tower energy. Rebirth is imminent, transmutation is imminent. And it's like, even in the selection of like, oh, which one should I do? Like, there's still like, it reminds me of the magician, like playing cups and balls. It's like, it's a game of like, which one has the ball under it? Like, it's elusive until you find it and then it goes, ha, this is what it is that we're going to explore. And I feel like that's the game of this 7 of Cups. It's like really getting clear of where the most fruitful egg is. I'm getting tossed back to the image of the 5 of Cups that we got yesterday that had like the little egg in the nest and the woman kind of like with her bowls, like, yeah, it felt both fertile and grieving, and there was a lot going on there. So that takes me back both to the message of the divine, of conscious conception for the feminine, but it's like the masculine is honoring the egg, is honoring, like, it's almost like he flips over the bowl and sees the egg in it. He sees the ball and says, okay, bringing it forth, offering, I'm ready to fertilize this with you. She's not, and maybe she's the one that put the cup down and said, you got to figure it out. I do think that the feminine is really walking away right now because she's exhausted. Her resources are spent. She's bored. My friend used the word bare. She's bare, raw, numb. There's a lot of that's going on, and it's just like, it's so uncomfortable to be in this space. So the other card that came out is like, how can we expect this Tower, to move forward? And it's the Strength card. And I feel, for me, the Strength card has always been more about union. It's my favorite card. I know I'm supposed to have favorites. But it's my favorite card in the tarot deck. It's also the number 8. I was born 8/8, 89, age reveal. But it's a magical birthday. And so I really resonate with this card. I also feel like the union that happens in the strength card of like the woman is there, and is she holding out open the, you know, in the traditional one, holding open the mouth of the lion? Is she taming him? No, like she's just like being present with the lion. She's honoring that lion's like thing, and she's not fearful of him. In my other decks, it shows up as Beauty and the Beast or Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolf, and it's as they've grown old together. So in both of those representations, it's not the taming of the beast, it's the presence with the beast within, which brings us to this card. It's like the integration with the beast, you know, and to be fully integrated allows you to be with the gentleness of the lamb, the softness, to be present with the softness of the divine feminine. So I really do feel some good movement moving forth with the masculine as we do this work. And so then, you know, my deeper question was like, well, you know, how is this showing up in the 5D? You know, so we had the internal world, we had it showed, you know, as far as like the emotional state, the individual of the being. And then we had the external, the 3D, and now we're working in the 5D. And so what is this really looking like? And I saw the wounded healer, and I feel like the wounded healer gives some toss back and call to the lion card, because like dandy lion, right? Okay, so here we are. Look at that dandelion, yes. So in the 5D, the dandelion, the wounded healer. Okay, so there's a lot of sacred geometry. There's a lot of Merkapas going on. And I extend the offer for you to bring in more of that sacred geometry into your meditations, into the thoughts of your beloved. If you're thinking of them, just like put them in the Merkaba, like put them in the tree of life, whatever it is that sacred geometry that resonates with you in your union, use that to embody. Both of you can be in there together. Or if that doesn't feel quite right, you can be in your own separate ones and then like have a dome of protection around you. These are different tools that you can use. And what I'm also seeing is like, you know, this dandelion is in different stages. Okay, so there's a lot of different stages of the process that's going on in the 5D, you know, and of course in the 5D, you know, the synchronicity for me is the last exchange I had with a potential beloved. We were talking about time, and he was like, well, time just exists to keep us in line. I'm like, well, time exists so not everything happens at once. And then I was messaging with a DM friend, and she was just like, well, I was like, hey, I'll get back to you later. And she goes, yep, time is an illusion, you know? So all the beauty of the full essence of time is everything happens in the 5D, right? So we can see the beginning, middle, and end simultaneously, and that can be really hard to be a witness and witness the present moment of the process, okay? So it's just like, I am the chair. I remember everything that I was before the chair, and like, I'm at that point in my life where I'm a tree, and I'm getting stressed out about the time that I will become a chair, you know? Like, so there's all this piece, and it's like, instead of getting overwhelmed by it, like, can we bring in this conscious, like, I love that there's this incredible rainbow that's being sent around this thing of like, this is prism healing, y'all. This is full spectrum healing is what we're doing by being able to see as many sides and perspectives of a thing as we possibly can within the moment. And that's really what sacred geometry is because we can see all of it at one time. Okay, so I do get this as a part of a message for the feminine as it relates to the masculine, because it's just like, hold the full spectrum healing, hold the prism healing as it relates to this union, as much as you can hold all the different perspectives. And, you know, I was thinking for myself the other day, because I posted one of the videos and it felt very raw to me to have posted that. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to leave it up. I felt like very clunky because I hadn't integrated all that I was sharing. And I think for myself and my energy, you know, I am a storyteller. I work as a performer. I do improv. I'm very comfortable with being in the realms of the unknown. I also am gaining more and more comfort and being very sloppy in my process. I don't have to show up perfect. Now, of course, I don't want to show up and trauma dump on you all, but I want to acknowledge that I am an active divine feminine also going along this journey. I'm also not trying to figure it out. I'm trying to move with it. But I'm finding that my energies more and more, it's like, yeah, like I can acknowledge all that's going up and do my work to speak to it as we move along with it. but mostly I just merrily we roll along, right? I just want to be in the river and like just kind of floating along and not having to do the work of it, and have that masculine show up on the shores there to hold me as I float along. And that's really what our unions are about. Now, because this card came up so strong, I said, okay, well, what is this in relation to the feminine? And our dear Panther friend showed up again. I think she's shown up for us before. I know she's been showing up in my readings. And the Panther is the vulnerability, the being in the unknown. Okay, so as we move forward in the unknown as the divine masculine and the divine feminine, it's like she knows, but she doesn't know. Like what she knows is like the limitless possibilities of the 5D, the external, the infinite consciousness that is available to us, and the co-creative energy that can be born of that. She sees that, she feels that, and there is still a balance of this yin and yang, right? The dominant force here is the yin. The Panther is the yin. The yang is the tiny little cat, right? So this little cat doesn't seem afraid of the feminine, though. It doesn't feel afraid of this big yin energy that's coming forth. It feels like it's really excited and present to be with this being. And again, we have this toss back of more sacred geometry. Okay, so I feel like that's a lot to chew on. And I'm going to stop the video here, but I am going to continue this reading in a part 2, where we're going to go deeper into what it looks like to communicate with the divine masculine. Should this communication happen in the 3D? Should this communication happen in the 5D only? So we're going to look at that next. So stay tuned for the next video. I'm Hailey Jones, and aho!